Okay, yeah, it's ridiculously early. I've got things to do. But I had an interesting debate the other day on Facebook. Now, this is all personal opinions, although I know enough about the food industry to have this opinion. It is only basic knowledge, but it's enough. I follow someone called the Fitness Chef on Facebook. He is absolutely brilliant. He is not part of diet culture. He shows it for what it was, that, junk food and healthy food can not only have the same calorie count, they just have different nutritional values and fibre counts. So, there's nothing wrong with eating junk food. There's nothing wrong with having a balanced diet where you eat everything and anything, as long as you don't overeat on anything and everything. If you overeat on a bunch of vegetables, you're just as screwed as if you overeat on junk food. And he promotes healthy, balanced diets and gives you the nutritional facts on both junk food and healthy food and the calorie count on both. And he promotes it in a really sort of interesting way, to say the least. But I had a debate on there. Some woman who, I think it was a woman, anyway, somebody put up a comment. I made a comment on there saying that he was right about the food industry spreading fear, because back in the 60s nobody cared about what they ate. They ate what they ate because they enjoyed it. And now, of course, there's so much fear around food because the food industry have been promoting healthy living and healthy food, and junk food's bad for you, to the point where things like apples are bad for you, fruit is bad for you, even water can be bad for you. It leaves the question is, well, if everything's bad for you, what can you eat? Do we eat at all? And I put up that he was 100% correct, and it's fear, and society is spreading fear, and that shouldn't be there, and everything is right and everything is necessary. The reason diet culture doesn't work is because we spend so much time trying to have a healthy diet that we starve ourselves, when scientifically it's been proven that a carb kind of diet, having carbohydrates in our diet, actually helps us. He's found a scientific study that showed that having carbohydrates in moderation actually does help us just as much as having everything else, because it actually makes us feel like we've eaten. And when I put this up there, she went, or this woman, I think it was a woman, anyway, she had a weird name. It might have been a woman, it could be a man, don't know. It had a weird name. Anyway, this person put up there that the food industry was evil and that I need to be educated. I need to read a book. Thing is, people who spread that kind of nonsense, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these people still go to supermarkets, they still go to shops, they still buy all their food. 90% of these people, I know that there are some people out there that jump up and down on their soapboxes screaming the food industry is evil and all food is bad for you and it's got all these additives of GMOs, and actually have allotments and grow their own and have farms and whatever, and they do it themselves. But the majority of them, they jump up and down and scream on their soapbox the food industry is bad for you and it's evil, and then go to supermarkets and shops and buy all their food from them. And then they buy organic, and organic doesn't necessarily mean have any difference than anything else. And that's been proven as well. Just because it says organic, it's just expensive. Doesn't really change anything. There's still additives in it. There's still GMOs in it because they need it to last. Because, funnily enough, they still ship organic food. They still have to the reason they've started adding all these additives, GMOs, and it's not just in the soil that we have when we grow our food, but they need the food to last longer because, one, there is trade involved, and two, they want it to last longer in the shop so that, you know, people buy it. You know, they do want to make a profit. You know, and if it lasts longer, they make a profit. You know, because more and more people will buy it. You know, they can make it in bulk, and it's bought in bulk. You know, so it's not just profit margins, but it's also because we have trade deals with other countries and other countries have trade deals with us, and we import a lot of foods and export a lot of foods. And when we're adding all this stuff to our foods, is to make it last longer so that import and export is better. Funny that. You know, we can't grow everything here, just like every other country can't make everything there. You know, it's a win-win for everybody. But if these additives and GMOs were so bad for us, we'd all be dead by now. All of us, the whole planet, every human being on the planet that has ever eaten anything from a supermarket would be dead. Every piece of fruit that we've ever consumed, every vegetable we've ever consumed, every piece of bread, everything that we've ever bought from a supermarket and eaten as a child from a supermarket, we would all be dead or dying by now. So they're not bad for us. You know, there may be people out there that are allergic to some of them, but we find those allergies and people stay away from those kind of allergies, and it's fine. But if they were so evil and so bad for us, human beings would be dead by now. The food industry isn't evil. At least it's not as far as I'm concerned. And if you're going to jump up and down on your soapbox screaming that it is, there is a solution. It's a very unrealistic solution, but it is a solution. And she pointed out, or this person pointed out to me, how unrealistic the solution actually is. That if you're going to jump up and down on a soapbox screaming how evil the food industry is, grow your own. Provide your own livestock for your own meat, if you eat meat, or your own river with your own fish, if you're a pescatarian or you like fish. Grow it yourself. Do it yourself. Have your own food where you control the soil, you control the growth, you control everything. And then, if you want to jump up and down on your soapbox screaming the food industry evil, then that's fine. You can. Never ever, buy anything from a supermarket, ever. It's the most unrealistic thing ever, but you do. You have your own milk, whether it's from a goat or a cow. You make your own butter. If you unless of course you're dairy intolerant, grow an almond tree. Find a way to grow almonds or other things that, or use oats. Find a way to extract the milk from oats. Because apparently you can, because there's oat milk out there. There are ways. If you're going to do it, do it. It's a long, hard process, but if this is what you want to do, if you're going to scream up and down, jump around, screaming the food is it's evil and we should never touch it, do it yourself. Completely, totally and utterly. Cut yourself off from every supermarket and every shop, and do it yourself. Make your own milk, make your own butter, make your own cheese, make yourself everything. Completely self-sufficient. If you can't do that, because let's face it, it's a completely unrealistic thing in this day and age. We are not living in the 18th century or like before the 18th century, where things like this isn't natural and it is not possible anymore, realistically speaking. Unless we're living in like back in the Middle Ages or, this kind of life isn't really plausible anymore. There are those that can do it and have the ability to do it, which is great, but it's not a realistic approach to living anymore. And so the reality of it all is the food industry isn't evil, and those that are going to sit there and say all food is bad because it's got additives, GMOs and chemicals in it, do it yourself. Don't sit there and scream about it and then be a hypocrite. An absolute hypocrite. and go to the supermarket and buy food. Don't live off the food that you are screaming is evil if you really believe it's evil and it kills you and it's not good for you. It's hypocritical and it's ridiculous. You know, and what's blatantly obvious is you do not believe your own lies. You don't believe what you're saying at all. You're following a hype that diet culture has been spreading to make people fear food, completely fear food, in such a way that they're too afraid to actually eat so that they can milk people out of all their money, and in an effort to lose weight. When in a reality of it is, a healthy, balanced diet and exercise will achieve your result, the same result. And you can eat whatever you want, because how many people go on a diet and then can't maintain that diet because they never feel full? They have cheat days where they eat so much junk, or that they feel guilty, and then it takes them a long time to get back onto the diet. We've all been there, including me. We've all been there. We've all been tricked by diet culture. Understanding that it's not about that. It's about maintaining a healthy, balanced diet where you can eat whatever the hell you want in moderation. In moderation. It's moderation that counts. You can calorie count if you want to, because having a calorie deficit is healthy. Eating too many calories will help make you put on weight. That has been scientifically proven. But it doesn't mean that you should miss out on things that you enjoy. If you enjoy eating chocolate and donuts and cake, eat them, but don't eat them constantly. Because the reality of it is, a cake has the same amount of calories as a full meal, like a healthy meal. Just because you enjoy a full meal doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy cake. And the fitness chef, he puts all of this into perspective and gives you all of the calories and all of the nutritional values and the information. So I do highly, highly recommend, if you're on Facebook, looking him up. The fitness chef is incredible. He is amazing. He's funny. He's clever. He's highly educated. He understands the food industry better than most people. And he understands diet culture and the reason why people struggle so much. And he does it in such a way that it's so easy to understand. It's so easy to piece together the evidence that everybody can see why diet culture is so fake and why it hurts so many people, and how having a balanced diet and having cake and donuts and sweets is never going to hurt you. It's overindulgence that hurts, not having them. I'm going to go because my rant is kind of over. But yeah, it is one of those moments where I just thought, you know what? Yeah, some of that is personal opinion, but I do understand enough about the food industry and the way, these things kind of work, to know that it's not harmful to us. So yeah, I'm going to go and I'll speak to you all later. I love you. Bye.